Hello, I know I've been gone for a long time, but I need to get some shit together. So, this is not the video that I had planned to make, which was a Ghost 2009 versus 2022 analysis, but that's been put on hold because of recent news for Wattpad. And if you know, you know. But for those who don't, Wattpad is removing smut that involves under 18s on the platform, and as well as harshing down on, like, they're making their policies clear basically. But obviously people are freaking out because they're like, oh no, they're getting rid of smut. We've seen this happen before. Censorship, it's all around us now. But it is obviously very heartbreaking for Wattpad to become what it has, because I've been on it most of my life. I still have it on my phone, I still read it, and I actually had 3 books that I was going to publish. 3 separate books for Wattpad, because I thought they were more suited for that platform rather than Ao3, but I am working on something else for Ao3 as well, so I've got 4 books in total, alongside all of my written fanfiction that I have beside my bed. But what really is agitating me about the situation is the amount of people on Ao3, all of the Ao3 enjoyers, that are like, oh no, it's happening again. The Wattpad people are going to ruin it. Which, as someone who is on both, I do agree Ao3 is the better platform to read on, because it's so diverse and there are no limits, so you can go as far as you want. I don't usually go further than my normal, like, tags that I like, because that's what you like, you know, we all have preferences when we read. And obviously Wattpad's tag system is very different, and it's a lot, I would say it's more stingy with how you can tag it, but there are obviously, it's a very similar kind of format where you have either your mature, explicit, or for everyone rating, and then you've got your separate tags. The biggest difference between Ao3 and Wattpad is that Wattpad has become monetized, which is what people dislike with fanfiction. Fanfiction should not be sold, it should be free. So that's why Ao3 has so much, like, props, like, so much praise, because they do it for free. They've got this whole archive for free, which in today's day and age, having something like that for free, it's basically daylight robbery, it feels like. It's incredible. And obviously they've come so far getting out of the beta and stuff, so it's really good developments for Ao3 at the moment, apart from this news that happened, I think, earlier on this week. It hasn't been that long, but already people are seeing trouble happen on Wattpad, or on Ao3, sorry, where people are reporting fan fiction for being too explicit. First of all, yes, it might happen, but let's not forget that this exact same thing happened last year or 2 years ago, when people that were in lockdowns suddenly learn about what Ao3 was and what fanfiction is. These people that had never interacted with anything particularly nerdy or fandom related in their lives suddenly jumped on this wagon of people that had already been here for most of their lives, because it was now getting trendy to be in fandoms and have a community like that, but they went into it without knowing a single thing of what was going on, and a lot of them didn't understand anything. They understood absolutely nothing. which freaked out a lot of the fandom people, because all of a sudden you have these group of, they called normies. If you're not, it doesn't matter to me. I'm not. We've all been there at some point. We've all thought, gotta try and be normal. And then we grew out. We grew up from out of it. I'm definitely in the spot now where I'm comfortable with myself and my quirkiness. But moving on. So yeah, when the quarantine lockdown and stuff happened during that period, and obviously book talk, I think, was a very, very big influence on people. People were buying more books, people were talking about books, they wanted smut, they wanted romance, and what's this? Something for free, something I can read smut and stuff for free, and there's no limits. I'm gonna go on it. But the thing is, when people think of smut and they feel like BDSM is erotic, when you're talking smut, BDSM is the vanilla territory for that. You can go, there's so much worse. And I've seen the worst. I've read the worst. I've written the worst. So, yeah, BDSM is not at all the highest point you could go, but that's as high as some people will go, because I think it scares them. I'm not sure. But when people talk about this whole situation, it's not the idea that, like, you know, Wattpad's basically reinstating their policies. That's not the part I'm mad at. If anything, you know, it's good that you're making your policies clear so people know what they can and cannot post, which is always a good thing for an app, especially with fan fiction. It can get a bit messy. But when people, I've seen so many people that I like watching, just scrolling on Instagram was how I found out about it. So many people saying that the Great Purge, you know, this is happening, everybody learn your etiquette. Yes, learn your etiquette, but we can say it in a nicer way than saying, basically, you guys, we're scared of you because you might ruin everything. There's a much nicer way to say it than basically just saying Wattpad is so much worse than Ao3, therefore you need to be on our level or else you're not welcome here. That it seems Mean Girl type energy, and it's not very nice, because I've been on both. I started out on Wattpad and then I grew up, obviously. I use both. I still use both. I use Ao3 and I use Wattpad. As I said, I was writing books on both of them. So when people say that one is worse than the other, better than the other, yeah, I know one is better than the other, but I'm not going to be mean to the people moving over to the better site because their site is becoming trash. Wattpad used to be glorious. It was the peak of peak. There used to be no ads. It wasn't monetized at all. I remember when there was no ads. I remember when the homepage of Wattpad didn't have that stupid fucking coin logo. I remember when the homepage of Wattpad was just stories recommended to you based on the tags that you liked. And it wasn't all of these paid original stories. It was actual fan fiction. You would see X-Reader in every title. It was glorious. It was absolutely amazing. So there was no need to move over to Ao3 because everything I wanted was there. And there were, for my age, I wasn't interested in Dead Dove Do Not Eat. I wasn't interested in, you know, hardcore traumatizing, because I had enough of that in real life. So when people are saying that Wattpad people don't know, we do know. We know. And I'm very passionate about this because it's been pissing me off, just the way that they're saying it, how condescending people are being, as if we haven't just lost one of the great horsemen of fan fiction sites due to censorship and just years and years of monetization, which is upsetting. Because when you look at Wattpad as well, it's not, you get on there and it doesn't feel the same. It's not orange anymore. First of all, it's not orange. But then when you read a fan fiction, you read a fic, yeah, and for the most part, it's pretty good. But then after every chapter, you swipe, add. I don't want to deal with that, and I don't really want other people to deal with that. But I don't know, bro. It has been rubbing me the wrong way with how people like treat the situation as if the same thing didn't happen years ago and it was a lot worse, because people were being harassed. They were absolutely being talked down to because the people that were coming into AO3 didn't understand how fanfiction worked. At least Wattpad users know how fanfiction works. They might not know the system of AO3, but they at least know what the fuck angst is. They know what hurt no comfort is. They know what fluff is. You don't have to explain that to them. Just show them where the filters are. That's all they need to know. Because they will learn. The only way to get good at something is to learn, is to practice. They need to be on the platform to practice. So yeah, it's been a lot, because it's like every fifth post, I think, is someone complaining that the Wattpad people are going to ruin the platform. Some of us have already been here for a long time. I've been here for a long time. And yeah, I had to learn, because I was 13 on Wattpad thinking, maybe there's some other things I can find online for fanfiction. And lo and behold, there it was, AO3. Brilliant, beautiful, majestic in my time of need. So when it pisses me off, it really does. This is like a shower thought, by the way. I just got out the shower and I was thinking about it, because it's been constant over the last few days. Like, people saying, learn your etiquette or go away. It's like, okay, let me mourn first, Jesus. But then there is a good point that someone did make. They weren't talking about people's etiquette or anything like that. They were talking about how AO3 is going to handle it, because it is not an app, is not monetized. It is basically a project that a team have. They aren't millionaires. They accept donations. AO3 is built on donations. And there is obviously the risk that it will crash a lot more because of the high traffic that will come onto the site, because I think the person said that Wattpad has 90 million users, which is a lot. Obviously, I don't think all of them are going to migrate. I think some of them will stay, because maybe they don't know what's happening, and also they find AO3 too complicated, so they'd prefer just to stay. Or maybe people will move to other places like Tumblr, fanfiction.net, which, you know, anywhere you go for fanfiction, if it's good for you, then it's a good choice. It doesn't matter what the general public say. If it's good for you, it's good. No one can tell you what site is better, because your fanfiction taste is your taste. No one dictates your taste in what you read, and obviously it varies on platform to platform. which what makes it so good to have multiple areas for fan fiction. It's good to have all of these different places where you can go on to read it, because there are different people on each platform that write differently, they speak different languages, and there's different fandoms on each platform as well. Like, one fandom that's on AO3 might not be on Wattpad, and Wattpad might have a fandom that fanfiction.net doesn't have, and obviously Tumblr has a whole other heap of things inside of that, with the fan art, thread type posts, stuff like that. So if you just want fanfiction, go to the other sites. If you don't mind having an actual like mini algorithm thing alongside your fanfiction, Tumblr's great. Tumblr does have some really good fanfiction. You'd be surprised. It also has some great comics, I might add. It has some great, really wonderful comics. No matter the fandom, you will find something probably. There is always something out there for you, because no one can dictate what you like, and there's always someone that likes the same thing. There will never be one person in this world that is truly unique, and that's really what you have to remember, especially when it comes to fan fiction, because people will say it's not competitive, but the way AO3 people treat Wattpad users makes it look competitive. The way people treat other people on other platforms, purely because they use that platform and it's known for a specific thing, that is what makes it competitive, and that's what makes people not interact with people in fandom. That's how you get fandom wars, which is upsetting, because I feel like we should all be beyond that point. It's not 2000 anymore. We have to grow up. We have to move on from fandom wars, because at the end of the day, no fandom is the best, because they're all so different. You can't compare a fandom. Like, you can't compare the Deltarune fandom to, like, slashers. That's just not how that works. The middle ground is someone who likes both. Hello. But then it's like K-pop, Death Note, slashers, Deltarune, like, they don't correlate. None of them do. So obviously I'm gonna need multiple platforms in order to get the good shit. The good shit. So it really ties around to the way people treat each other, I think. But then I also want to preface this to AO3 users. Wattpad people aren't as stupid as you think they are. They are not ruining fandom. The people that ruined fandom were the people that came a few years ago and started thinking that people in AO3 need to write fics all the time and take commissions. The first ever people to ever speak the words, "It should be monetized." AO3 monetized. It's because they didn't know. It is ignorance. Let's not ignore the fact that it was ignorance. They were new, and a lot of them were people who were quote unquote mean girls back in like high schools and stuff, that, you know, lockdown, they got bored. People are reading a lot more books now. It seems to be trendy. That's how that starts. It's all a trend. Everything is a trend. We're all just following the lines of the great leader, whoever, the man, or the woman. But in this world, would it really be a woman? It's vodka. I'm kidding, it's water. Very dry water. My throat's dry, I think. Yeah, I've not talked to myself for this long for a while. Definitely need to pick back up. But, you know, what can you do? Yeah, I just needed to talk about it because it's been like on my mind for a few days. Everyone just talking about it, and each time I watch someone say, "Guys, they're coming," it's like, it rubs me the wrong way. It really does. Because I know the people that are on AO3 they've never, like, either they started on Wattpad like years ago and they've just completely forgotten, or they were never on Wattpad and they started on AO3 and they just don't realise it is still fan fiction, just written a bit differently, a different audience, and a different fucking algorithm. Well, not a different algorithm, it has an algorithm. And so and obviously I think a lot of them are just saying it because it's like relevant. Yeah, relevant. It's relevant at the moment because it just happened. That's what relevant means. But when it's like, it grinds my gears. Oh shucks, man. Yeah. Because I can say from experience that, you know, Wattpad people, the fics that I've seen on Wattpad, they aren't shy to go into detail. Like, years ago, I remember reading a whole fic about, this might get me age restricted, but I don't know, it's fine, I'm a small content creator, YouTube won't do anything to me. Here's hoping. Yeah, I read a fic years ago, and it was a Five Nights at Freddy's fic. I read a lot of those, and it went into very graphic detail about Springtrap's Springlocks suit moment in FNAF 3. And that's not the only one that I saw like that. I saw a different fic. I think it was a different fandom. It was more based on Undertale, and I wonder if I still have it. Oh, I got an iPad, by the way. Well, it's not an iPad, it's a tablet, Samsung. That's how I can record now. It's pretty cool, actually. I was just waiting for a case to come for it so I could have it propped up, because otherwise it kept falling over. That's my Wattpad, there you go. Let's see. Yeah, see, this is never used to, this front page right here. The money symbol, it never used to have this front area where it would have a bunch of like unique, like original stories that are basically paid for. And obviously it has that like all the way down in like different categories. But before it obviously used to be just recommendations. But then I still have all of my fan fiction that I used to read still here. It's a lot of YouTubers. Oh my god, Dick by Gaylight. I forgot about this one. Wait. Oh my god. Oh, those are titties. See? Wattpad is just the same. Wattpad. It's not afraid to be what it is. That's what Wattpad is. I might read that later. I might read that. Oh, I'm flustered now. It was just Leon's titties. So, there we go. That's Wattpad for you. Yeah. By any means, it is not like children's books. It is definitely smart. I wrote smart on Wattpad. I know all sorts of things. In fact, Wattpad is really what I think it helped me who I am today. Without Wattpad, I don't think I'd be in like as deep into fan fiction as I am. I truly believe that things happen the way that they do for a reason, because everything makes you who you are, and that includes what fan fiction service you use. Hang on, let me. Yeah, I was searching for was it Del? It was Undertale. Yeah, I have a lot of Ghostface on here. I have a lot of Star Wars. Naruto. Someone yawned. Oh my god. They're not even in my house. Or are they? Lots of Halo, and obviously a lot of YouTuber stuff. Yeah, wow. The Desolate Jedi. Oh my god. What a fic, man. What a fic. I just found the Dream SMP fanfiction. Oh my god, the Ninjago. Mozart and Beethoven. I found the Mozart. Look. Isn't it beautiful? When was this? 2022, Jesus. See, we have crack fics too. Like, you know, just because your site is harder to navigate if you're new, it's not hard to navigate if you know what you're doing. But if you're new, just because it's like not new user friendly, like it takes practice, doesn't mean you're automatically the best. It's an archive, yes, that's what makes it great. Not because the people say they're the best, because the site is great, because the people running it have spent so much time in making it be a free service that people can use to be creative with no limits. PlayStation, play without limits. That's basically what Ao3 is. But Wattpad, it has its good moments. So I've never seen why they have to be so against each other. Why are we going at each other's throats? Of course, the only big worry for this news is if Ao3 can handle the high traffic, which it won't be able to because it struggled when the book talk and quarantine newbies started coming in. But yeah, people need to be nicer with the way that they are treating people who are trying to get into Ao3, because they've just lost their main site for fanfiction. So show a little fucking decorum and respect. If people are asking for help on how to use tags or how to use the filters, kindly escort them through the process. If someone's unsure about what's considered mean with etiquette, just let them know that what is basically common sense, pretty much. When people say etiquette, it is literally just common sense. Be nice to people. Be nice. Kudos, your fics if you like them. That's really the only ways you support them, because there is no monetary stuff, there is no ads, and don't say there should be ads, because that is stupid, and if you do say that, you are stupid, and that's why I don't like Wattpad as much anymore, because it did start having ads, but before that it was praise be the Lord. Love Wattpad. The only reason why I use it less is because of the ads, and I'm not paying for no ads. But you can still find good shit on Wattpad. Don't forget that, people. Never forget your roots. Absolutely never forget your roots. Because yeah, the front page might be paid stuff, but that doesn't mean the search filter doesn't work still. Think ahead. Absolutely. Anyway, that has been my thoughts on the matter. Treat people kindly and read lots and lots of fanfiction. Write fanfiction too, because fuck yeah, write it. Actually, there is one more thing. Wattpad people who are joining Ao3, if you do plan to, and you plan to write stuff, do not write it in Ao3. Write it on like a notes app first, or use, I don't want to say Google Docs, but something like Google Docs. Yeah, find alternatives. Just use something that you can type in first and then copy paste when you're ready to publish it, because Ao3's draft thingy, if you save the draft, it will only stay for, I think, about a week. It will tell you what date it disappears if you save something on there, but yeah, it won't stay permanently. So if you start writing and then maybe you're gone for like 2 weeks, it will go. You will lose all your progress. So don't do that. Write it on a notes or like journal taking app first and then copy paste it, because I don't want anyone to lose all their work. I know it's absolutely heartbreaking, but you know, you find out the hard way. So yeah, stay safe, treat people with respect, read lots of fan fiction, draw lots of fan art, be weird, be cool, and enjoy yourself. Welcome people to AO3. You'll have a blast. It's really good, and you will definitely see why people say it's better. But I think we already knew that because of how often they said it. And we will mourn the old days of Wattpad together. We will all have a bonfire and just stare off into the distance while thinking about all the old times where, you know, I used to spend hours. I spent absolute days, and now it's about 20 minutes of screen time. But anyway, bye bye. This has been fun, very passionate. The ghost video will come out soon. This just needed to come out first because obviously it's very relevant, and I just, as soon as I got out of the shower, I was thinking people are being really mean. And it's not fair, especially, I know both sides. It's really not as bad as people think it is on Wattpad. It like, yeah, it's seen better days, but it's not like we have to pay for every word used. I shouldn't have said that. Damn it, someone's gonna make it a thing. The world is ending. That's all I'm gonna say. 2026 has been awful, actually, in terms of, you know, celebrities dying, changes happening. Yeah, it's a scary world out there, but you know what? This place is lighthearted. This was definitely more of a serious. I mean, I wouldn't call fanfiction very serious, but if it's about kindness and treating people, then it's serious. So, yes, absolutely. Welcome to AO3. If you have moved, do not feel pressured. It's a good site. If it's not for you, there's plenty of other options. And yes, if you are confused, it's okay to be confused. Someone nice out there will teach you how to use it. If need be, I will teach you how to use it. But don't forget your roots, baby girls, and I'll be back with a ghost video. So it will be a good analysis. It's not really analysis, it's my own thoughts, but yeah, let's hope that things get better. Bye bye.